Welcome to a deep dive into Korean Seijo poetry,
Oh, yeah.
specifically a
Go.
collection called A Blacksmith's Daughter by Kim So-hae. These are these three-line verses
Yeah.
that are called Seijo,
Yeah.
and we'll be looking at these in both the original Korean and the English translation.
That's so cool. I've never read Sido poetry in Korean, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I actually have excerpts from the book itself,
Wow.
some of Kim's Seijo forwards and information about the translator.
Oh, neat.
So we'll be able to get into some of the
So we have a lot to work with here.
the cultural nuances and choices made in the translation process.
Yeah, that's always fascinating to me to see how a translator, bridges those gaps between two very different languages and cultures.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it is. It's going to be neat.
Yeah.
And one of the things I found so fascinating about Seijo is how much meaning they pack into those three lines.
It's like this little puzzle box. You open it up and there's layers of meaning and imagery, emotion all packed into those three lines. It's amazing.
Yeah. And Kim So-hae, the poet herself, seems like a fascinating person.
Yeah.
She was born in 1947
Okay.
in South Korea. Made her debut as a poet in 1983.
Cool.
Has published 6 collections.
Wow.
Won numerous awards.
Mm-hmm.
But she also runs a dental appliance manufacturing business.
Like, that's so cool.
I know.
Like total left brain, right brain kind of situation going on.
It is.
Really interesting.
I love that about her.
Yeah.
So she seems to embody this idea of a multifaceted learner.
Oh, definitely.
Someone who can, pursue both creative and technical expertise.
Yeah, that resonates with me so much.
Yeah.
Like, I think both of us, we love to constantly learn new things and explore different fields.
Absolutely.
It's like she's living proof you don't have to choose.
Right.
You can be both an artist and a scientist.
Exactly.
Or an engineer.
Exactly.
It's inspiring.
It is.
Yeah.
So we know she's accomplished and a fascinating person, but what is it about her poetry that makes it stand out?
Okay, well, David McCann, the poet and translator,
Mm-hmm.
who wrote the foreword to A Blacksmith's Daughter.
Mm-hmm.
He called her observations witty glimpses and praised the kind of the enchanting conclusions that she draws.
I like that, enchanting conclusions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He highlighted some specific CEO, like The Sound of Rain, where she compares raindrops to typing on a window,
Okay.
and a view of petals falling like snow where cars are dreaming under flower petal quilts.
Oh,
Isn't that great?
I love that imagery.
Yeah, like you can really see it.
Yeah,
The car's all tucked in.
Yeah.
It's so sweet.
it is.
Yeah.
But he also talks about how her poems have this unexpected turn in the third line.
Yeah, it's like this little twist at the end.
Okay.
It catches you off guard and it makes you think.
Right. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And he uses a CEO called This One to really drive that point home. So the Korean for this one is
Oh, God.
Kohei. She diakonyana.
Oh, wow.
Yo yo ho.
Okay.
K-O-O-Hu. Yeah. K. Dia. K. A terragina.
Wow.
Oh, okay, so I'm dying to know what that says.
Right, of course. How does this
Yeah.
turn play out in the English translation?
Yeah. Okay, so the translation goes, while I wrote a 3-line poem, my pot got burnt black on the stove. With great effort, I have written 3-line poems to 10-line poems. However, can my fee for a poem cover the price of the pot?
I love that.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It's funny, right?
But it's also very relatable.
Totally.
I mean, you get so caught up in the creative flow.
Yeah, you're in the zone.
Yeah.
Oops, burnt pot. It
Yeah.
happens all the time.
Yeah, I think a lot of us who try to balance,
Yeah.
creative pursuits with everyday life,
Oh, yeah.
we can totally feel that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like a universal experience.
It is.
Have you ever?
Have you ever had something similar happen?
Oh, yeah. All the time.
Not necessarily a burnt pot.
Not burnt pot, but those moments where you're so focused on something.
Yeah.
And then you completely space on something else.
Yes.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
It's a price we pay for passion.
It is. And that's just one example of
Yeah.
how she weaves these everyday experiences into her poetry.
Totally.
I'm excited to see where she takes us next.
Yeah, me too.
Speaking of journeys, one of the poems that stood out to me was Island.
Oh, Island.
It has this beautiful sense of longing and anticipation.
Yeah.
What are your initial thoughts on that one?
Yeah, well, Island, it really captures that feeling of wanting a connection to be savored,
Okay.
not rushed.
Yeah.
And the way she does it with the imagery is just beautiful.
Okay.
So here's the Korean for Island. I go, "Jujie,
Oh, okay. How did you?
share the eyes.
Ah,
Rocket. Yeah, that's
good.
lovely, right?
It sounds so evocative.
Yeah,
Can you share the English translation so we can unpack it?
of course. So
Okay.
the English translation is, when you come to me, my dear, I want you to come by sea. Don't build a bridge over the sea so that your car zips to come here. Row a boat leisurely to come here as kindly as you did.
Well,
It's so romantic.
there's so much yearning in those lines.
It is.
Like instead of just like a quick car ride over a bridge,
Right, like zipping over.
she wants that slow,
Yeah.
deliberate journey across the water.
Like, take your time.
Yeah.
Savor the journey.
It is. It makes me think,
Yeah.
have you ever been in a situation where you wished someone would just take the time to really understand your perspective,
Oh, yeah, all the time.
to make that effort
To really meet me where I'm at.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think that a universal human desire
Yeah.
to be seen and understood,
Yeah.
and to have people take the time to really connect with us on that deeper level.
It is. It's like that idea of choosing the scenic route rather than just rushing to get there.
Exactly. Like, enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
It's all about the journey.
Speaking of scenic, I think Spring Rain also captures that.
Oh, spring rain.
The appreciation for the natural world, but in a slightly different way.
Yeah, in spring rain, it's more about the restorative power of nature.
Okay.
And it's really interesting how she uses kind of everyday objects to get at this really profound idea.
Okay.
Here's the Korean. Yeah, you, Jada.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Glimo.
So, yeah.
Okay.
What'd you know?
I'm curious to hear how those sounds are described in English.
Yeah, how does she capture that feeling of renewal, right?
Yeah.
So the English translation is, rain-fed rice field on the slope. I hear water run into it. Oh, the sound of water flowing and the birds chirping somewhere. Anyone can use these good sounds to remove rust from hinges.
Okay, so we go from these.
There's a surprising shift at the end there.
Yeah.
She goes from these very peaceful sounds of water and birds to this image of rusty hinges.
Right.
And I'm trying to picture that connection.
Yeah, I see it as a kind of a subtle metaphor.
Okay.
The rust could be like, the negativity or the burdens that we carry.
Okay.
And the sounds of nature
Yeah.
are kind of like this cleansing agent
Okay.
that helps us to release those things.
Yeah. I see your point about the restorative power of nature,
Uh-huh.
but the image of the rusted hinges also makes me think about neglect.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe it's a reminder
Yeah.
to care for the things we value,
Yeah.
both in nature and in our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes those things need a little attention.
A little TLC.
Yeah, before they become too worn down.
That's a great point.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
it definitely gives me a lot to think about.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how Kim So-hee can pack so much into these short verses.
It really is.
Yeah, I wonder if we see that same kind of layering of meaning
Mm-hmm.
in her poems about everyday objects like silver scissors.
Oh, silver scissors. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that one?
Silver scissors really struck me as a commentary on the challenges we face in life.
Okay.
And the feeling that sometimes things unravel despite our best efforts.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So here's the Korean for silver scissors. Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. You did. Yeah. So,
Okay.
as the you can know yeah.
Okay, I'm intrigued by the symbolism of the scissors.
Yeah.
What was your interpretation of the English translation?
Okay, so the English translation reads, "For the seams not to come loose, pinking scissors were being used. I was sure I kept straight on, but I produced wrong zigzag patterns. What was worse, the rest of the edge. Why did it keep loosening?"
So those zigzag patterns
Yeah.
make me think about how our plans don't always turn out the way we envision them.
Exactly. Like, we think we're going straight,
Yeah.
but life throws us these curveballs.
Right.
And we end up with these zigzags.
Yeah. There's that sense of, I thought I was doing everything right, but things still went astray.
Yeah, that feeling of being lost
Yeah.
and confused.
Yes.
Even when you thought you were on the right path.
Yeah.
It's relatable, isn't it?
It is. Especially, I think, for someone like you who's always seeking knowledge
Yeah,
and trying to make sense of the world.
absolutely.
I'm sure you've had moments where you thought you were on the right track,
Oh, yeah.
but then things took an unexpected turn.
All the time. It's part of the learning process. You know, you have to be willing to adjust course.
Right.
To embrace the unexpected.
It makes you wonder what other everyday objects
Right.
she'll use to reflect on these deeper questions.
Oh, for sure.
Well, one that she does use
Okay.
is Braille.
Oh, yeah, Braille.
And you mentioned that earlier. You
Yeah.
said it reminded you of the mysteries that surround us.
Yeah, because in Braille, she takes this everyday object, you know, something that's designed to make information accessible.
Right.
And she turns it into this metaphor for the vastness of the unknown.
Okay.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
So here's the Korean for Braille. Sadio, 하소원하제야.
Okay.
Voltak goat. Code. Goat.
Okay.
Tesejos.
That juxtaposition of Braille and the night sky, it's so intriguing.
It is. It's like she's looking up at the stars.
Yeah.
And seeing this vast language that she doesn't understand.
Okay.
But she knows it's there.
Yeah.
It's full of meaning
Yeah.
and mystery.
Can you share the English translation?
Yeah. Okay. So the English is, I don't know how to read Braille. It's somewhat hard to decipher. Stars twinkle in the night sky, brightly filling the universe. The raised dots are like planets to me. How appealing with records.
It's like she's saying, I may not understand this particular language, but I can still appreciate the beauty and mystery that it represents.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And I think that's such a powerful message for anyone who considers themselves a lifelong learner.
it is. It really is.
You know, you're not always going to understand everything,
Right.
but that doesn't mean you can't appreciate it,
Yeah.
you know?
That's a message that really resonates with me as someone who's always, seeking out
Yeah.
new information and perspectives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like she's giving us permission to embrace the unknown,
Yeah.
to be okay with not having all the answers,
Right.
and to find joy in that process of discovery.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Now, I know we've focused primarily on the poems themselves,
Yeah.
but I think it's time we shift our attention to the art of translation.
Okay.
After all, we wouldn't be able to experience Kim So-hae's work
Right.
without the skilled work of Woo Hyung-suk, who
Absolutely.
translated the collection.
She's the one who's bridging that gap
Yeah.
between Korean and English.
So what are your thoughts on the translation process so far?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in awe of her ability to capture those nuances
Mm-hmm.
of Kim's poetry
Yeah.
while making it accessible
Right.
to an English-speaking audience.
It's not easy.
It's a very delicate balancing act.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
It's like walking a tightrope.
Yeah.
Right.
What are some of the choices that
Yeah.
stand out to you?
Well, I think it's worth noting that Woo Hyung-suk, she's not just a translator.
Okay.
She's a published Seijo poet herself.
Oh, wow.
So she brings this really deep understanding of both language and form.
Wow.
You know, she's not just translating words, she's conveying the rhythm,
Mhm.
the imagery, the emotional depth of the original Korean.
Wow. It's like she's speaking both languages fluently.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
She's bridging those cultural gaps.
And creating a very seamless experience for the reader.
Yeah, a very smooth transition
Yeah.
between one world and another.
And one of the things I've noticed is her very skillful use of language
Mm.
to evoke these specific feelings and images.
Uh-huh.
For example, in Island, she chooses the phrase leisurely row
Yeah.
to capture that sense of very slow and deliberate movement
Yeah.
across the water.
Right, it's not just rowing.
Right.
It's leisurely rowing.
It is.
And that makes all the difference.
Yes, it's a subtle choice,
Right.
but it makes a big difference
It really does.
in terms of setting the tone and conveying the poem's message.
It changes the whole feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just about finding the equivalent word in English.
Right.
It's about capturing the
Yeah.
spirit and
Alright.
intent of the original Korean.
Yeah.
And that brings us to another very interesting aspect of translation.
Yeah.
How to handle cultural references
Huh.
that might not have a direct equivalent in English.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
That's a tricky one.
Yeah.
How did Woo Hyung-suk
Right.
approach those situations? Did you notice any specific examples in the poems we've discussed?
Oh, yeah, definitely. November is a great example of this.
Okay.
Remember how the poem talks about autumn's wick?
Right. I remember wondering about that line.
Yeah, so that phrase, autumn's wick, refers to a specific type of oil lamp that's traditionally used in Korea
Okay.
called a duongjan.
Oh, interesting.
So there's no direct equivalent in English.
Right.
So what does she do?
Yeah,
Instead of trying to force a literal translation,
Mm-hmm.
she opted for a more evocative approach.
Okay.
So she added the phrase, like burning wicks, to the English version,
Okay.
which helps to convey the image and the atmosphere
Yeah.
without getting bogged down in technical details.
Right, so it preserves the essence of the original
Yeah.
while making it understandable for an audience that might not be familiar with Korean culture.
Right. It's like a bridge
It is.
between two worlds.
It really is. It highlights the creativity and the resourcefulness that's required of a skilled translator.
They're not just language experts,
Right.
they're cultural ambassadors,
Yeah.
bridging those gaps and fostering understanding.
It is. They are.
Yeah.
It makes you realize that translation is a true art form.
It is.
It's about so much more
Yeah.
than just finding the right words.
Way more.
It's about capturing the heart and soul
The soul.
of a piece of writing
Yeah.
and bringing it to life in
Yeah.
a new language.
It's just like a rebirth.
It is. And I think Woo Ha-young-suk's work on A Blacksmith's Daughter
Yeah.
is a testament.
It really is to that
Yes.
artistry.
She did a beautiful job.
She did. I'm so grateful for the work she's done to bring Kim So-hee's poetry to a wider audience.
Me too.
I feel like I've learned so much about Korean culture and the power of language
Yeah.
through this deep dive.
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
So as we kind of wrap up this first part of our exploration,
Okay.
I think it's important to step back and think about the broader significance of Kim So-hee's work.
Why should people, especially those of us who value lifelong learning, care about this traditional Korean verse form
Yeah.
and this particular poet?
What can we take away
Yeah.
from her unique perspective?
What are the enduring lessons here?
That's a great question. And I think it's one we'll explore in the final part of our deep dive.
Okay.
I'm ready to connect all the dots
Yeah.
and see what enduring lessons we can glean
Awesome.
from this journey into the world of Sido poetry.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, so husband and wife.
Okay.
It takes a very different approach to expressing love
Okay.
than a blacksmith's daughter.
Okay.
Instead of that fiery passion, we see this very quiet appreciation for simple gestures and subtle beauty.
Okay.
Here's the Korean.
There you go. Do Jonah. Do Jonah.
Okay?
Clitana. Do Jonah. Junie Boyoon. I'm really drawn to that image of the silver poplar leaf.
Yeah.
How does the translator bring that to life in English?
So the English version reads, "Oh, you have a lovely back, like the silver poplar tree leaf, quivering in the breeze. You're showing great subtlety. Oh, sweetheart, when you shake your body, I want to see your lovely back."
It's so intimate.
Yeah.
Focusing on this seemingly simple detail.
Yeah.
Her partner's back.
Right.
I feel like it speaks volumes about the depth of their connection.
Yeah, it's not about those grand gestures.
Yeah.
It's about those little moments of appreciation
Right.
that build intimacy over time.
It is. It's the kind of love that comes from truly seeing someone,
Those
noticing those subtleties
Yeah.
that others might overlook.
little things.
Yeah. It makes me think about how we often rush through life without truly observing the people around us.
It's true. We
Yeah.
get so caught up
Yeah.
in our own heads.
Yeah. Maybe this poem is a reminder to slow down.
Yeah, to be present,
Yeah.
to appreciate those little details.
Yeah, the things that make our loved ones
Yeah.
unique and special.
To really see them.
It is, and it speaks to Kim So-hee's ability to find those universal truths in the most unexpected places.
She does.
Yeah,
It's like she's holding up a mirror
right.
to our own lives
Yeah,
and relationships.
And encouraging us to look a little closer.
Pay attention.
Yes. And I also love how this poem contrasts with the fiery imagery of A Blacksmith's Daughter.
Yeah, totally different vibe.
Yeah, it really shows the range of emotions and experiences that
Yeah.
she captures in her poetry.
The full spectrum of human experience.
Yeah. Speaking of contrasting emotions, one of the poems that really moved me was The Last Night with Dad.
Oh, wow.
It deals with loss and grief,
Yeah.
but in such a profound way.
Heavy stuff.
Yeah. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that one.
Yeah, The Last Night with Dad, it's definitely a poignant one.
Yeah.
And the way she uses these cosmic images
Yeah.
to express the magnitude of her grief
Yeah.
is breathtaking.
It is. Here's the Korean. Hamige. 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 It's like the universe itself is mourning alongside her.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how those feelings translate into English.
Yeah. So the English version reads, Oh, the stream of the Milky Way. The stellar stream seems to ripple, the little bear and the great bear. The star group seem to shake too. That dark sky is getting ready to welcome a strange star.
That image of a strange star entering the sky,
Yeah.
it's so powerful.
It's haunting.
It feels both hopeful and heartbreaking.
It does. It's this beautiful blend of sorrow and the sense of continuity.
Yeah, it speaks to the idea that even in death, our loved ones become a part of something bigger,
Yeah,
something eternal.
like they're woven into the fabric of the cosmos.
It makes me think about how we can find comfort in knowing that the people we lose are never truly gone.
Yeah, they live on in our memories.
Yeah.
And in the tapestry of the universe. Beautiful. And it speaks to the power of poetry to help us process these complex emotions.
Absolutely. Poetry can be so healing.
Yeah,
It helps us make sense of the things that are hard to grasp.
right. And it reminds me of how Kim So-hee doesn't shy away from the full spectrum of human emotion.
Each doesn't.
We've seen her explore passion, tenderness, grief, humor,
Yeah.
and everything in between.
She embraces it all.
She does.
Yeah.
It's that willingness to embrace the full human experience
Uh-huh.
that makes her poetry so compelling.
It's raw. It's honest.
Yeah.
It speaks to the core of what it means to be alive.
Before we move on, I wanted to touch on another poem
Okay.
that resonated with me. Forgetfulness.
Oh, forgetfulness.
It seems to offer a different perspective on loss.
Okay.
One focused on acceptance and growth.
Interesting.
Yeah. Forgetfulness suggests that letting go can actually be liberating.
Yeah, letting go of the things that no longer serve us.
Right. Here's the Korean Sanyu.
Sigon, but no way. Tell me way. Can I you Jay?
Okay. There's this quiet strength in those lines.
Yeah. I wonder if the English translation
Yeah.
captures that same sense of resilience.
Okay, so the English translation reads, I lost something, but I've lived well. It may mean I don't need it. If I don't need something at all, it'll mean it's good to forget it. Forgetting evokes emptiness, so now I am broad-minded.
I love that idea of forgetting, creating space for a broad-minded perspective.
Yeah, it's not about erasing the past.
Right.
It's about recognizing that what we lose
Yeah.
may not have been essential to our growth.
Right. It's a very powerful message.
Yeah.
Especially, I think, in a culture that often emphasizes holding on to the past.
Right.
Kim So-hee seems to be challenging that notion.
She is.
Yeah, suggesting that sometimes letting go
Yeah.
is necessary for moving forward.
To make space for new things.
It is. It makes me think about how we as lifelong learners are constantly evolving.
Yeah, we're always changing. Yeah.
Yeah.
We gain knowledge,
Huh?
we shed old beliefs,
Right.
and we make space for new experiences.
It's a continuous process.
It is,
Mm.
but maybe forgetfulness is a reminder that this process of letting go is not a weakness,
Right.
it's a strength.
It's a sign of growth.
It is. It's a beautiful way to reframe the idea of loss.
It is. It's about transformation.
Yeah. And it speaks to your point about the importance of growth and adaptation
Yeah,
in the pursuit of knowledge.
absolutely.
Now, you mentioned Braille earlier.
Oh, yeah.
You said it reminded you of the mysteries that surround us.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
Braille, it's like she takes this everyday object,
Go.
something that's designed to make information accessible,
Right.
but she uses it to talk about the things we can't know,
Okay.
the mysteries of the universe.
Right.
Here's the Korean.
Allah, duh. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Okay.
That juxtaposition of Braille
Yeah.
in the night sky is so intriguing.
I know, it's like she's looking up at the stars
Okay.
and seeing this vast language written there,
Okay.
but she can't read it.
Okay.
It's a mystery.
And she wants to know.
She wants to know,
Yeah.
but she can't.
Yeah. What does that look like in the English translation?
Yeah, so the English goes, I don't know how to read Braille. It's somewhat hard to decipher. Stars twinkle in the night sky, brightly filling the universe. The raised dots are like planets to me. How appealing with records.
It's like she's saying, I may not understand this particular language,
Right.
but I can still appreciate the beauty and mystery it represents.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a reminder that there's so much knowledge out there.
There is.
So many perspectives
Yeah.
waiting to be discovered.
And we'll never know it all.
We won't. But the pursuit of understanding is a worthy endeavor in itself.
Absolutely.
It is. And that's a message that really resonates with me as someone who's always, constantly seeking
Yeah.
new information
New perspectives.
and new perspective.
Yeah, it's like she's encouraging us
Yeah.
to embrace the unknown,
Right.
to find joy in the process of discovery,
Yes.
even if we don't have all the answers.
Even if we don't. Now, I know we've focused primarily on the poems themselves,
Yeah, we have.
but I think it's time we shift our attention
Yeah.
to the art of translation.
Okay, the unsung heroes.
Yeah. After all, we wouldn't be able to experience Kim So-hae's work without the skilled work of Woo Hyung-suk.
Absolutely. She's the bridge
Yeah.
between these two worlds.
So what are your thoughts on the translation process so far?
Well, it's amazing. I mean, honestly, I'm in awe
Yeah.
of her ability to capture the nuances
Mhm.
of Kim's poetry while making it accessible
Right.
to an English-speaking audience.
It's a delicate balance.
It is a very delicate balancing act.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are some of the choices that stand out to you?
Well, one thing that's really impressive is that Woo Hyung-suk,
Hmm.
she's not just a translator.
She's also a published Seijo poet herself.
Oh, wow.
So she brings this incredible depth of understanding
Right.
to both the language and the form.
Yeah.
She's not just translating words,
Right.
She's conveying the rhythm,
Yeah.
the imagery, the emotional depth of the original Korean.
It's like she's fluent in both languages.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Both the language of Korean and the language of Seijo.
Yeah. And creating this seamless experience
Yeah.
for the reader.
A smooth transition between two worlds.
And one of the things I've noticed is her very skillful use of language to evoke those very specific feelings and images.
Yes.
For example, in Island, she uses the phrase leisurely row
Right.
to capture that sense of slow, deliberate movement across the water.
That's not just rowing.
Right.
It's leisurely rowing.
It is.
And that changes everything.
It does. It's a subtle choice.
Yeah,
But it makes a big difference
it does.
in terms of setting the tone
Yeah.
and conveying the poem's message.
all in the details.
Yeah. It's not just about finding the equivalent word in English. It's
Yeah.
about capturing the spirit and
Mhm.
intent of the original Korean.
The essence.
Yeah. And that brings us to another interesting aspect of translation,
Okay.
how to handle cultural references
Right.
that might not have a direct equivalent.
That's always a challenge.
It is. How did Woo Hyung-suk approach those situations?
Well, she got creative.
Okay.
Um, did you notice any specific examples in the poems that we've discussed?
No, yeah.
November is a great example.
Okay.
Remember that line about Autumn's wick?
I do. I remember wondering about that line.
Yeah, so in Korean, that phrase refers to a very specific type of oil lamp
Okay.
called a doonjan.
Interesting.
And there's no direct translation for that in English.
Right.
So what did she do?
Yeah.
She came up with this really evocative phrase,
Okay.
like burning wicks,
Okay.
which captures the feeling,
Yeah.
the imagery,
Yeah.
without getting bogged down in technicalities.
Right. It preserves the essence of the original. Exactly.
While making it understandable
Yeah.
for an audience unfamiliar with Korean culture.
That's the art of translation.
It is. It's a very clever solution.
It is.
It highlights the creativity and resourcefulness required of a skilled translator.
It does.
They're not just language experts.
No, they're cultural ambassadors,
They are.
bridging the gap between two worlds.
It makes you realize that translation is a true art form.
It really is.
It's about so much more than just finding the right words.
So much more.
It's about capturing the heart and soul of a piece of writing
Yeah.
and bringing it to life.
And giving it new life
Yes.
in a new language.
In a new language. And I think Woo Hyung-suk's work on A Blacksmith's Daughter
Yeah.
is a testament to that artistry.
Absolutely a beautiful job.
I'm so grateful for the work she's done to bring Kim So-hae's poetry
Me too.
to a wider audience.
Yeah, it's a gift.
It is. I feel like I've learned so much
Yeah.
about Korean culture and the power of language.
Me too. It's been a journey.
It has through this deep dive.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this part of our exploration,
Okay.
I think it's important to step back and,
Yeah.
and consider the broader significance of Kim So-hae's work.
Okay.
Why should people, especially those of us who value lifelong learning,
Right.
care about this traditional Korean verse form
Yeah.
and this particular poet?
Why does it matter?
What can we take away from her unique perspective?
What are the enduring lessons?
That's a great question, and I think it's one we'll explore in the final part of our deep dive.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm ready to connect all the dots
Yeah.
and see what enduring lessons we can glean
I love it.
from this journey into the world of Seijo poetry.
I'm excited.
Welcome back to our final segment on Kim So-hae's A blacksmith's daughter.
Yeah.
I'm still reflecting on all those emotions and themes we uncovered in her CEO.
It's been quite a journey, right?
It has.
From the passion of that blacksmith's daughter
Yeah.
to the quiet intimacy of husband and wife.
Yeah.
I mean, Kim So-hee really shows us the versatility of this ancient form. She does. We started by asking, why does Seijo poetry matter?
Right.
Especially for those of us who are, constantly learning
Yeah.
and seeking out new perspective.
Right. Always looking for those new insights.
Yeah. As we wrap up, what would you say are the key takeaways?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is that Sija offers this window into a completely different cultural tradition.
Okay.
It's like a key
Yeah.
that unlocks a whole new way of seeing the world.
Right. It's a reminder that there's so many different ways
Oh, yeah.
of knowing and being in the world.
Absolutely.
And through Kim So-hee's poetry,
yeah.
we get a glimpse of that Korean perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what's so cool is that she's able to connect those cultural insights
Yeah.
to these universal themes that resonate across boundaries.
Right.
It doesn't matter where you're from.
Yeah.
You can relate to the longing for connection in Island
Yeah.
or the acceptance of loss and forgetfulness.
It is. It's like she's saying, even though our cultures might be different, we're all connected by these fundamental human emotions and desires.
Exactly. We're all human at the end of the day.
We are. And that's such a powerful message, especially in today's world.
It is. It's a message of unity.
It is. It encourages us to embrace those commonalities.
Yeah, to focus on what unites us
Yeah.
rather than what divides us,
And to see the beauty and complexity in different ways of life.
and to appreciate those differences,
Right.
to see them as strength.
I also think Seijo, with its concise structure, teaches us a valuable lesson about the power of simplicity.
Oh, absolutely.
Kim So-hee manages to convey so much meaning and emotion
Yeah.
in just 3 lines.
It's amazing how much she packs into those 3 lines.
It is. It's a reminder that sometimes less is more.
Yeah, in a world where we're constantly bombarded with information,
Right.
Seijo offers this refreshing antidote.
It does.
It invites us to slow down,
Yes.
to savor each word.
To appreciate that depth.
Yeah.
That can be found in brevity.
It's like a little gem
It is.
you hold in your hand,
Yeah.
and you turn it over and over,
Yeah,
and you discover new facets with each glance.
it is. And speaking of gems,
Yeah.
I think Kim So-hee's Seijo are filled with these little nuggets of wisdom
Yeah, for sure.
that we can apply to our own lives.
Absolutely.
Whether it's her reminder to appreciate the small things
Yeah.
or her encouragement to embrace the unknown,
Right.
her poems offer this practical guidance for navigating the complexities of human experience.
You do. It's like a roadmap for life.
Yeah, it's that blend of artistry and wisdom
Yeah.
that makes her work so compelling.
It's not just beautiful, it's thought-provoking.
Right. It's insightful.
And it's accessible to everyone.
It is.
You don't need a PhD in literature
Right.
to connect with these poems.
Yeah.
It's for anyone who's ever felt a sense of wonder
Right.
or a pang of longing
Yeah,
or the weight of grief.
it is. And that brings us back to the learner in all of us.
Yeah.
Kim So-hee's Siho are like little lessons in observation,
Mhm.
mindfulness,
Yeah.
and self-reflection.
Exactly. They encourage us to look deeper,
Yeah,
to question our assumptions,
right.
and to find meaning in the everyday.
It is.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay.
Kim So-hee's poetry reminds us that learning isn't just about acquiring facts
Right.
or mastering skills.
It's about,
It's about cultivating a sense of curiosity,
yeah,
a willingness to embrace the unknown,
right.
and a deep appreciation for the beauty and complexity of the world around us.
What a beautiful sentiment to end on. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of Kim So-hee's Seijo poetry.
It's been a pleasure.
It has. We hope you've enjoyed the exploration and that you'll continue to seek out new perspectives and deepen your understanding of the world through the power of language and art.